Yeah, and again, as Sam said, feel free to contribute, interrupt, ask questions. This is like a very interactive session. There are some things I'm going to show here just because I know when you do interactive things online, it usually breaks. So I have it on a slide. But we'll do our best and we can jump into the chat and figure stuff out. So I kind of prepared it, and again, we're going to do this together, but I kind of prepared like a basic information on all AI, so we start at the same point and we know what we're talking about. Some people might find it boring. Some people might find it very interesting. Well, I found it really interesting, actually. So basically, when it all started in 1950 with the Turing test. That was a way, what's his name? Turing, obviously. Started to determine how intelligent a computer was, if you can say they're intelligent. The term AI just started actually in 1995. 1966, someone came up with a little program as a psychotherapist, which is really fun. It just has a bunch of open-ended questions. So how does that make you feel? What do you feel you have to do about that? And it's very simple, but it actually feels like you're talking to a psychotherapist at some point. Then they went over from the 70s to the 80s. It was kind of gone. 1997, I mean, sometimes we think, oh, AI is starting right now. It's not. It's been there for a long time. Deep Blue, you might have heard that. There was that big IBM computer that played chess against the chess master and won. 2011, Siri came into our life. Siri is an AI. I mean, it's not that she's smart or anything. It's just that she has access to a lot of data and she can bounce it back and forth with us. Watson was another supercomputer that beat a bunch of people at Jeopardy. Alexa came in 2014, 2016 Tay. AlphaGo, I don't even know what that is. And then in 2018, the European Union started setting up some guidelines for ethics in AI, which is in safety, I imagine, too, which is very important because there's a lot of ethics. Now, the thing is, from 2018 to now, it seems there's been a boom with that. And it all happened because of, so the question is AI going to take over the world? Is it going to destroy humankind? That's, I think, what everybody's worried about. And no, AI is a tool that humans have developed, and hence, this actually came from the AI itself, and it's saying that it won't. As long as people, but this is important, it's as long as humans remain responsible and conscious of the potential risk and limitations, it will continue to be a valuable tool for improving our lives. So, yeah, I mentioned this yesterday because someone asked that too, and I was like, look, if you give a hammer to an axe murderer, he'll figure out how to kill someone with it. And the hammer isn't supposed to be a deadly weapon. So anything can be used the wrong way, and it's really important that we figure out how to use this the right way and how other people are using it the wrong way, so we don't fall for their tricks and stuff. I have this slide. I've actually put this in this morning. Hackers have now figured out that they can take advantage of people with AI. So AI is so easy to implement and plug into a website as a support desk or something that now they have some sites that look legit, and there's a little Bing AI there, and people start chatting with it, and suddenly, hey, this is Bob. Sorry, the chat is down right now. I can help give you live support. By the way, I work with Microsoft, and we have a great deal on the new Surface tablets. Instead of $1,500, it's going to be $500. Are you interested? And then they get their email, their phone number, their credit card, and never send anything. So, there are instances, so you have to be really careful where you're interacting with AI. Make sure you trust the sites. It goes back to know, like, and trust. Don't ever give an AI your credit card number. If they don't need it. I mean, I wouldn't really. Here are a couple of things that they can do. Fraud and AI. And if you're using AI tools, make sure you know where the tool came from, because some AI tools, it's not that the tool itself is bad, but it's weak in its security. So a hacker can inject malware into the tool. The tool can go and put stuff on your computer, and then, yeah, we're messed up. There's also something that's called Auto GPT now that everybody's really excited, that you just tell them, hey, I want to do a promotional plan for my company. And then it starts going back and forth with itself, doing tasks, creating lists, and figuring out stuff. But the thing is that depending on how you configure it, you could give it full access to your computer, to the internet, to download stuff, to upload stuff. And if it gets carried away, it might spam a bunch of people. You might get thrown out by your ISP. Or it could download malware too. So be very careful with that. I do not recommend it. If you want to play with it, you can use the web version and always have a stop limit so it doesn't go too far. There's actually someone who created, instead of Auto GPT, I think it's called Doom GPT, where it's programmed to see how it can destroy humankind. But it hasn't been very successful. Actually,
is that the same program that you use to compose letters? Yep. Because I know I use it.
Which one?
What you were just talking about.
No. This is like is a specific software that interacts with AI, and then it does the interactions on its own, so it starts cycling through. Composing letters is basically you have suggestions, and it helps you better phrase stuff and correct errors. That is AI too, totally. I mean, even Word for years, or in Gmail when you're typing an email and it auto-completes, that's the AI working in the background.
You use it every day.
Yeah. And here's how we've been using it. Google, Siri, Alexa, Google Maps, Waze. They're calculating and figuring out routes. They're tracking you all the time. Obviously, that's how they know if there's traffic or not. But privately, of course. Facial recognition, the iPhone, and not only that, but also there's a bunch of other apps that do facial recognition. It's really crazy how deep it's gone. Now there's some softwares that are using facial recognition to try to understand human emotions. So you can see a recording of someone's face, and the AI is going like angry, happy, sad, trying to determine that. And the thing is that the whole system is learning on itself and growing and growing. So it becomes better and better and better at doing it. It's kind of like with the phone. The first time you do it, you have to scan it a couple of times. And then afterwards, glasses, no glasses. Now it even with the mask, it'll know it's you. Yeah, so.
Just to see how, anybody fly during the pandemic? I did. I flew to Nashville and back. Okay? Tampa. Got TSA pre-check, everything. I get up there and the guy says, okay, I need to take a picture, mask on. I need to take a picture, mask off. He did it 3 times. Okay? Just learning who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were still in the life of masks, they can just tell by this who I am.
Right. You're going to ask?
So, just confirm this is
Yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
I'm always on the web version. So from
Yes. No, that's safe. That's safe. Yeah.
So you could say, what do I need to do?
Yeah. No, that's safe. That's cool.
And should we just like delete our history? Does that
Nah.
matter or no?
I don't think so. Unless you have private weird stuff there.
An account view.
Can you give me a romantic story to tell my husband? Yeah.
It should be your account, and that's all that's there. It should, I should give somebody access to it.
Yeah. So other stuff, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify, it's always learning and recommending what we like. So sometimes I want to watch a movie with my wife, and I go into my Netflix, and I only see sci-fi stuff. I'm like, oh, come on, I have to go and search for a rom-com or something like that. You can do, it's doing short videos, summaries, spam filters, does it. Video games use it a lot. E-commerce store, Amazon. You go to Amazon, it says recommended products. In a way, it's trying to make your life easier, better, but it's also making you spend more money and relying on impulses. And now the household items, Google Nest, the Roomba, the Ring, all your smart plugs, all that's connected online and can be used one way or another with AI. Hey.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's scary. And there's stuff out there that it's much more complex than any of this. Like we're all surprised of what we have right now available, ChatGPT being the breaking point that started in November last year, that basically made all the AI publicly available to the regular, normal, broke human being. Because AI has been there for years, but it was only available for deep pockets, big corporations, universities, and stuff like that. So November 30th, 2022, ChatGPT came into the game, And now it has, from November to February, it now has around 25 million users a day. Yeah, so that's been in crazy growth, and to compare it to other stuff, if you see, like, Uber took 70 months to reach 100 million monthly active users, Pinterest 41, 2 months ChatGPT. So these are, 100 million active users a month. And again, now it has 25 million a day, so as you can tell, it's a lot more. And it's grown really, so that's why everybody's seeing it. It's all over the place. And I'm not sure is the word in English, opportunistic?
Yeah.
Okay. So opportunistic people are trying to make money from it any way they can. Like, and it's, the tools are there now, readily available for you to create your own chat plugins, your chat bots, and to use the back end of OpenAI gives you, it's called an API that allows you to communicate with their information. So that way you can do a lot of stuff, and we'll probably cover that next week, but next time. But yeah, it's very easily available, and everything goes into the creativity of how you use it, what you can do with it. I'm sure you could have something that auto detects and sends letters to neighbors who are doing stuff. Now GPT-4 now recognizes images, so that's a big advancement on the regular everyday GPT. So
there is a free version. 3.5 is free.
3.5 is free, and 4.0 is $10 a month. So it's not like super expensive.
Super expensive.
Yeah. Now that we know that the revolution is with ChatGPT, what is it? Basically, the GPT is for generative pre-trained transformer architecture. It's just an architecture that allows people to interact with all the information gathered. They have information gathered up to 2021, I think it is, on almost everything. Generative, it means it can generate new content based on patterns. It's really good at detecting patterns, at finding, if you can upload an Excel file and tell them, analyze the data and tell me what's the best time of day, I don't know, to feed my plants based on this table. It'll do it, and it's really good at it. Pre-trained, that they've taken a lot of amount of data and trained it, and then the transformative part of it is the architecture and how it works, but just was like kind of general information. Because I get all the time, so what's GPT? Well, it's generative pre-trained transformation, and I keep forgetting it, so it doesn't matter. So 4 features, really important ones. It's advanced natural language understanding, so you can chat with it like you're speaking with another person. It's contextual aware, so whatever conversation you're having, it will remember what your conversation was, and it'll interact accordingly. Now it is limited, but it is aware. So you can right now with ChatGPT 3.5, you had up to 8,000 words of awareness. 4.0 has 25,000. So you can have a pretty good conversation. It'll remember. And as soon as they make it lifetime aware, there's a lot of things that can happen that you can use it, like for tutoring would be great, because it would know what it taught a kid at some point a month ago or so, and move on from there. And they're having really good results with some important things. Like there was a study with a support chat for a medical support chat, not to diagnose or anything, but to talk to patients that had been in the hospital. And it was manned by doctors, and they did a test, to have ChatGPT man it randomly. And when they did the reviews, it turned out that people like ChatGPT 80% more than doctors, because doctors kind of look down and talk down to people sometimes. So as a support, it's like, okay, we don't want any doctors supporting this anymore. Again, you have to train it and give it the right information, otherwise it's going to give you gobbledygook. It has a lot of knowledge: science, arts, humanities, medicine, business, politics, pop culture. So you can talk about almost anything, and it'll kind of know the answer, and if not, beware, it will try to make it up. Sometimes it won't say, I don't know. It'll just figure something out from what all it has, and it'll make something up. So got to be careful with that. Applications generate content. I'm sure you're doing that a lot, Liz. You too. Then virtual assistants, really cool. Customer support, chatbots, translation. I think we've used it for a long time, but now it's easier just to tell them, translate this to whatever language. And I think right now it has 24 languages. ChatGPT-4 has a little more and some strange lower end language. I mean, not lower end, but not as well-known languages. It'll translate whatever you want. And you can, for the rest of the world, it's interesting too, because anyone from any country can come in and type into ChatGPT in their own language, and it'll understand. Like, it automatically knows in what language you're talking to. Interactive gaming, storytelling, that's nice. Education and tutoring is actually a very good application, as I mentioned, but it still has to be developed. Now, limitations. The context window I was telling you about, 8,000 words of context. So sometimes you can give it a PDF or a website and tell them, summarize this for me. It'll do a great job. But if you give them you can't give it the Bible. It's more, I don't know how many words are in it, because it doesn't remember that much. They're working on it to grow it. But you can do, and the input feed is like, I'm not sure, I think it's like 800 words or something like that. So you can train it in blocks. So if you want to give it more information, like 1,000 words, and it won't accept it the first time, then tell it, I'm going to train you and give you this information. And then you give block number 1, block number 2, block number 3, and then you can tell them, okay, now do this based on that. Then complete outdated knowledge is up to 2021 so far. There are some plugins that it allows it to go out to the web and find stuff on the web. But again, it doesn't discriminate if it's right or wrong. It's just going to go and find stuff that's on the web. It could be made up. So you never know. Be careful with that. It can't verify facts that's not me, or access real-time information yet. Sometimes it's kind of generic, but that's because you're asking generic questions. So if you want more specific stuff, try to be more specific. We'll go through that. And it totally has no common sense. Nothing is,
So it's just like you today.
basically, yeah. No common sense, no life experience, no feelings. So sometimes it can become actually biased. They used AI, without even knowing it. They used AI I don't remember what company it was, to analyze the best performing employees for the past 8 years to create the profile of the new employees. And it turned out that for the past 8 years, the best employees were men, because most employees were men. So the AI came up, well, the best employee we can hire has to be a guy. So it was biased because of what they fed it, right? So, and you can tell it, like, okay, analyze this now, take into account that I don't want to look at genders, and now create the profile. But again, it's what you tell it. It can't reason on that level. So, you're all bored with all these facts? So let's try to go on and do something actually more important. So here's the key to this. The person who asks the right question will rule. You need to know how to ask questions, how to tell it what you want, and how to refine what it gives you. That's super important too. Someone, I don't remember who told me this, but this is a great analogy. Actually, this was made with AI. The kid doesn't exist, obviously. But think of AI as a 5-year-old that knows everything. So when you ask it to do something or to tell you something, they'll do it as far as you tell them. So if you tell a 5-year-old, take out the dog, he might go and open the front door and let it out instead of taking it to the backyard, right? You didn't tell him, no, take him out the backyard. Be very specific. So again, don't expect it to know context and have common sense for sure. You said teenager, but let's take it down a little bit more. Teenagers listening wouldn't like that. So anyway, just general vocabulary when you're interacting with ChatGPT. A prompt is the command you give it, right? And you want in it to what it will respond. Input is the little area where you put your prompt. Training is when you teach it, you give it information so it learns what you want and how you want it. It knows all this stuff, but you might want something more specific. Like you might want to train it on how you write. And you can give them like, here are 5 of my last 5 emails. Write a new one based on the structure, tone, and voice of the past. So it's going to sound more like you, right? And the fine tuning is the process of whatever it gives you. Okay, I like it, I don't like it. Be more specific. Refine the stuff. And what I always say, at the end, it's up to you. So grab it, don't copy and paste it. Always add your touch to it. Make sure what's there is right. That's super important. And yeah, and this is in computer software, it's like, it's called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Same thing here. Whatever you put in, it's going to come out. And if you don't double check it, you're going to be, the thing is that a lot of people just use it, grab it, paste it somewhere else, and then they don't read it and probably has some nonsense on it. And then who's the idiot? You are, because you posted that. So yeah, got to take care of that. I don't know why it's on that, but anyway, it shouldn't, it's just moved. So be as specific as you can. If you can, use a step-by-step, give it context, request that it reformats and rewrites stuff. And again, iterate and rewrite as you go on, refine your answer. That way you're going to get a better result even. Yeah. I really use it a lot.
What I do is I'll take whatever paragraph it originally gives me.
Mm-hmm.
I rewrite it.
Yeah.
And then I spit it back out so it'll be like rewrite this, and then it gives me something else with some new stuff. I'm like, okay, take out this line, add something, and then it'll,
I use it as a base idea generator, but it's like for creativity, it helps a lot. Stuff you wouldn't even think of. And then I write it at least, and then I put it back in, okay, check for grammar and syntax and stuff like that, and it'll spit it out. Okay, I like that. So here's an example of not being specific. Write 3 social media posts for Mother's Day. And they're not bad, they're okay. Happy Mother's Day to the woman who's always been my guideline and inspiration. Thank you for all the sacrifices you've made and for always being there for me. I love you more than words can express. Hashtag Mother's Day. And the other ones are kind of the same. They're different tones. But they're good. But if you want it to be more specific, if you want a better response, you have to give it a better input. This is kind of drastical, but here's a more detailed input. Today, you will be acting as a professional copywriter who specializes in writing social media posts. If you give them the context of what they do, you can say, today you're going to be acting as a financial analyst, or as a doctor, or as this and that. Please write 2 heartfelt posts for Mother's Day. Use humor, write in the voice of American chef Paula Deen. But look what it spit out. Hey y'all, it's Mother's Day. So I said a big old hug and kiss to all the mamas out there. So it's really, like, okay. It used to be able to do stuff. It was really funny if you asked it to do in the voice of Donald Trump. Because you're the best for the country. But now it's kind of censoring itself. It's saying, yeah, we can't use that because they're political influencers with a strong voice that can affect or offend other people. So, yeah. I wanted to do it with Donald Trump because it's really funny. But yeah, it wouldn't let me. But see, the more information I give it, the better suited. So this would probably be somewhat, if I have my audience is Southerners, I don't know, Georgia, whatever I'm generalizing, but if I wanted to for this type of audience, I could do this type of prompt. But being specific, it's going to give me better results. Do you understand? Now, that's not for you guys. It's actually something you can use with ChatGPT. You can give it instructions and ask it, do you understand? So they pause and they tell you, okay, yes, I do understand, and then you can continue. So a way of training it, here's an example. I'm going to give you a short-form content. I'm going to train you on how to write short-form content. Here are the rules. It must open with encouraging sentence, have 3 to 5 bullets, Don't use hashtags ever, because it uses a lot of emojis and hashtags. And then I'm going to give you the headline, and you're going to write a short form piece based on that. Do you understand? And then because sometimes if you don't write the do you understand, it's going to start writing stuff sometimes. So here we'll pause it and say, yes, give me the headline. And here's the example, headline, using ChatGPT to generate sales and grow your business. That was my mistake. But here, great news. Now he came up with this, right? But it waited for me to give it the input, the headline equal. And you can do this with, I will write you, I want you to write an email for my audience. I want you to use this type of tone, this type of vocabulary, base it on this information. I want you to ask me all necessary information for you to write a great email. Do you understand? And say, yes. And then, okay, give me your audience, your product, and other stuff, and then it'll write a really good email. But because you are training it, so that's the kind of important thing. Here are a couple of hacks. Seeding, I kind of went through this, but so here's an example of a really good email. Now, write another good email. Or here's this email, write me some social media posts based on that information. Act as is really good, like act as an accountant, act as a doctor. The other day I got some x-rays of my shoulder, and I got the little blurb from the doctor's office, and I just explained this to me. And I just pasted it in. They're not diagnosing anything. It's just saying in layman's words what the doctor knew. Yeah, really helpful. And the tone, what tone you want to use. You can say write it in a casual tone, in a professional tone. Write it as would be in Better Homes and Gardens. And since it already has all these references up to 2021, it will know. What's the name of the stock guy on TV that does the bulls and has all the buttons? Him. Kramer. So you can write this email in the tone of Roger Kramer, is it? Yeah, Roger Kramer. And it will. And so it's pretty, or interpret as if you were. You can actually tell it to defend, to explain, to expand, to contract. There's a lot of stuff. And then there's the multi-prompts. And this is where the context is really good, where you start giving it some information, then you ask it to give it a little bit more and a little bit more based on that. And it builds upon itself. So it becomes more and more valuable each time. And I'm going to have an example of that. I just want to put some libraries there, prompts.chat and promptbase.com. Prompts.chat is a free resource with a lot of prompts. I think it's even categorized and all that. And you'll be able to click on it.
When will it stop learning?
It won't. This is the one-way ticket.
I'm getting the point here. So because you train people. If I was training you to take over me, what I do, I can train it to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Will somebody be able to train an AI that it'll be able to just do the Terminator thing on it?
Probably. Probably. I mean.
So once it's like GPT with a quantum computer, yes, we'll do that.
Yeah, and they say that's going to happen in 2041. It's going to be self-aware.
That we can train it. Yeah.
No, it's going to be self-aware. So that's why they have all these ethic commissions, security commissions, and all that, and how to build in security triggers so it doesn't do that. But yeah, at some point it could, probably. Hopefully not. So there was that library there, and it has a bunch of, where are the prompts? That's somewhere. I think, okay, so here are some examples.
Well, we're done with this particular part, because I missed out on the differences between ChatGPT 3.
Oh, sure. 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 Basically, ChatGPT 3 is a more limited base of information, and the way it massages information. So ChatGPT and the context window for ChatGPT 3 is 8,000 words.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the other one's, 25,000. Speed and the better way to interpret things. It gets better as the model goes up, exponentially better. Yeah. And this prompt-based, I think it's a paid one, where people can actually buy and sell. And even if you go on Etsy now, find a prompt, sell a prompt. You can find on Etsy people selling prompts to do stuff. But it happens because there are some prompts that are very complex. There's a huge dilemma right now with art. Artists are arguing, like, is this going to ruin art for everyone? Because in a way, it's like getting a really good artist or a really good painter, maybe not an artist, that can copy anyone's style. So, is that plagiarism, or is that new? Because I can tell them, like, make a picture of a cat like Monet. So, am I stealing his style, or is it my own style because I based it on him? So, yeah. But it's so easy to do now that everybody's complaining about this. But I heard that the same thing happened in the 1800s with the camera. Artists were saying, well, now art is dead. Now they're going to just take pictures of everything. And it's not. So, then example of multi-prompt. Okay, so this is an example of a multi-prompt that you do. Like, so today you're acting as, I don't know, a copywriter, a doctor, whatever. Write a content brief about pool cleaning. Okay, now write 3 compelling titles based on that content brief above. Now write a PAS description. PAS is problem, agitate, solution. And it knows all these little weird terms too. Problem, agitate, solution. So it's a copywriting framework.
What's the problem? What's the pain point? What's the answer?
You know, AIDA, AIDA, agitate, interest, desire. That's it, right? Yeah, AIDA. Attention, interest, desire, solution. Attention. Yeah, grab their attention. So you can tell them the framework, and it most likely will know it. So write a description for the blog. Now write an outline for the blog post based on this name. Because it gave me the titles. Now I want the outline based on the title. And it will actually tell you introduction, couple bullet points, main content. It'll give you the title itself. Then you can say, okay, now write a paragraph for each one of these. Now, if you grab the structure it gave you and you put it back into ChatGPT, since it remembers the whole context of everything, in the end you have a really, really good blog post. Very detailed. Just have to check for facts and stuff, but yeah, that would be a multi-prompt.
Right. The thing with the multi-prompt, if you stop and think about it, for years, one of the biggest issues with people and their Facebook posts, their emails, everything else was congruency. So they start off with a topic, and then they wonder. Anybody have a conversation and start going down a rabbit hole?
Yeah.
And that's what people were doing, and still are.
Yeah.
With their Facebook posts, with all their stuff, and they go down rabbit holes, and they go off in 14 different directions when they wanted to talk about a specific topic. This gives you everything you need about that topic. And like Richard said, check the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it sounds like you're going to have to go in and edit. If you don't go in and edit and make it yours, then I question the ethics in the way you're using it. Just seriously. And I have some examples of some stuff that's going on. But this will add congruency to across all platforms. Your email writing, your Facebook post, everything. So
it'll keep you in line too.
Yes.
So you don't. I do that a lot. No rabbit holes. Yeah. If you're using existing content, that's pretty interesting. You can grab something like, if you got this really, really good email, and you want to write something similar, you can take, okay, here's this email, give me 2 variations, but talk about this other topic, right? So you can have something that's for weight loss and then talk about pool filters. Rewrite it accordingly, and then you'll have the tone, the structure, and all that. Or you can actually, I think I have it afterwards. You can actually grab Martin Luther King's speech and tell, okay, analyze it for the structure, tone, and all that, and it'll give you an analysis of that. Or you can tell, there's actually a good one after that, but anyway, follow the structure and tone of this content and write a new one. Here's an ad. Please write an email from the ad, or here's my blog post, please write an email for my audience to read my blog post, and now create 3 social media posts based on that information too, that would point people back to the blog post. And then you have that congruency, and you have all this, your efforts have multiplied, right, from what you originally did. Again, don't just grab it like that. So, okay, this is super important. ChatGPT is buggy. It won't give you perfect answers all the time. So don't think it doesn't work. Just have to refine it. You can always get back to them and tell them to rewrite whatever you want or to improve it based on your feedback. And the first answer doesn't have to be perfect. Train your virtual assistant. Remember, you're training it to do what you want it to do. And you can tell it, like, I don't like that. Please change it this way, right? And I learned this from a copywriter, and the guy was like, he actually gives it good feedback too. I loved it. That's perfect. Now do something this. So it does take into account that feedback that, okay, so this is the stuff this person likes. Let's do more of that. Right, so, then it will sometimes this is super important, it will sometimes make up facts. So be sure to check them. Yes. It's very creative, sometimes too creative. So also check that. So far, there are plugins to have it connect to the web, but technically ChatGPT itself from the regular browser, it doesn't. But it can, based on the URL, figure out what the topic is about and make something up. And you might believe it did actually go to online and checked, and it didn't. So be careful with that.
I did that with my own website.
So if you tell it, go to pennyrichpools.com and tell me what the website is about, it'll come back and tell me, oh, this website's about pools and pool maintenance and stuff. But it assumed it is.
Yeah. It makes a huge assumption.
Yeah. So be careful with that.
Can you train the 3 or no?
Yeah. You can train the 3. Yeah.
Okay. And then from what I understand, it's not really making up facts. It's because it doesn't know what's actually real and not.
No,
real.
it makes up stuff.
It makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes it up out of nowhere. Yeah. No, it does. I've tried it. Yeah. And then the content is based. Yep. Use ChatGPT's content and use it as a base for your content and modify it. And
Just copy and paste
yeah.
it, this is it.
Yeah, and always check the content. Check its content. Yeah. And if you like the information, please leave us a review. And here we have the ChatGPT itself, and we can play around with it.
Now, do they have an app yet?
Huh?
Do they have an app yet
What do you mean an app?
for ChatGPT?
What kind of app?
I don't know.
You just go to the website on the phone.
Just go to the website and all.
Yeah, it'll work. Yeah. There's other apps.
You missed that part of the conversation. You do not want to download the app because that's how it's.
You don't want to download apps you don't know that are real from them.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of, so what it does, what it gives anyone, like I have the API for this and I connect it to my CRM and I can have, like I can fill out a form with my customers' data and it'll build a marketing plan for the customers. And I only filled out like 5 fields. And it'll go to Zapier, connect with the API, but I'm doing it on my website. But that's the problem. I know it's my website and I know what it's doing, but if I go to someone else's website, I could get malware and a bunch of other stuff into my computer and it can be really messy. This is what you were talking about, the sidebar. I always leave it. If you're trying to do a new task, do new chat, because it does have this context aware. So sometimes if you're just in the same box asking stuff and you switch topics, it might go back and talk about what you were referencing before. Mm-hmm. Here's the option. So here GPT-4 is more reasoning, less speed, more conciseness. The GPT-3 is the one everyone has for free. Super fast. Sometimes I started paying for it because it's only $10. And I hated the fact that it would break in the middle of me doing something. Like I'm doing my stuff and then, time out, didn't work. And like, come on. So they kind of give you a little priority because you're paying for it. And the GPT-3 legacy is going away soon anyway, so yeah. They added this little here, continue, clarify, expand, explain, rewrite, tweetified, whatever content you, okay, so I asked, please continue writing, and it said, so what do you want me to write about? And it's technically waiting for me to tell it something. But you can do all kinds of, what was I going to say that I stopped at some point? Wait, I was here. The multi-prompt, I forgot, I lost my train of thought. But I mean, if you guys want to, and probably what we want to talk about and go over afterwards is all the other AI stuff that's out there that you can use too, and how to grow it. Like even with Canva now, Canva has a little app where you can tell it to come up with an image if it doesn't find anything in the library. Yeah, you just want to tell it what it's about. It's.
If you'll stop your share, I'll
Sure.
We'll show you something. I did this. I don't know.
I think I saw. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. No, did I stop? Well, you can wait.
She'll stop the other screen share if you want to stop.
Oh, never mind. Okay, yeah, say yes. Mm-hmm.
Here.
That was pretty good sound.
While you're searching for that,
Mhm.
the AI type question I have is, what would you recommend to basically like use, I've heard of Grasshopper, for instance, where you can take a phone number and have that phone number dial out to multiple phone lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like as a business line, kind of like similar to Google, what is it called?
Voice?
Google Voice. But I didn't like how Google Voice, whenever you call a Google Voice number, it says, please wait while the business subscriber you're trying to reach is located. I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love for when people call the work line, right, which
Mhm.
happens to ring to his cell,
Mhm.
that it can ring not just to his cell, but both of our cells simultaneously. It can export out that number.
Yeah,
Do you know
no.
anything about that? No.
No. I mean, there is like a round robin that can do it, rings one. If that doesn't do it, it'll go to the next one.
Yeah.
But I don't have a service for that.
You don't have a service for that.
I mean, that I use or I'm aware of. I know they're there, but I've never used one.
Gotcha.
So mine,
We call it a hunt log.
hmm?
That?
The hunt log
Hot log
in the business.
to the next,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the service is the phone company that actually provides that.
Okay.
Okay.
So which phone goes there?
So just for example, this is, you all know I teach DISC. And so I typed in, why should a family use DISC? Okay? And this is popular personality assessment. Then I went to another program called, what did I say it was?
Oh, yeah. Victory.
Right. And so, my volume's turned off. And I basically picked the form. There's music in the background, which the music's turned off on mine. It put the pictures in there. It put my version of
The text
the text in there.
and the background music. Pick them.
Yeah, it can add background music. I could do a voiceover. Or I could use one of the things Richard was showing me earlier and have it generate the voiceover.
So you can record your own voice and upload it, or you can use a text-to-voice tool and to create the voiceover. They're really realistic, and you can actually. I was showing Sam one that I use that where you train it and. Am I muted?
Not alone. As a business owner, I know how overwhelming it can be to navigate the digital world.
It sounds a little robotic. but I only uploaded a couple of videos of me, and it pulled up my voice, and now that was something I typed in, and it's just saying it with my voice. And if you train it more, it's going to be really, really like your voice. So
can I be in two places at one time?
basically, you can try, yeah.
It can do that. There's a program where it can do that with your face and do videos.
Yeah.
Right.
Mr. Reynolds was showing that to me from.
Yep. Yeah, DID.
That was super creepy.
Yeah.
So I can be stabbing somebody with y'all.
Any other videos that you recorded and all the standard like.
I'm not sure if you saw, I mean, there's a bunch of deep fake videos lately. There was one of Biden recently that, yeah, we're going to support Ukraine. We're going to start drafting kids that are 20 and over. And I was like, oh my God, my son's 19. And then I was like, oh, this is deep fake. I was watching on my phone, so I couldn't tell. But when you saw it on the computer, it's like, okay, they didn't put a lot of effort into it. But if someone did, I mean, they really could. Well, there's Pictory AI.
Yeah. And that's free. You get so many deals a year or whatever. So, but there's so much that you can do with it, and you can expand. It's like Richard said. So I have, I've been doing this, I don't know, for several weeks now. So one of the things I did is I had it write a summary. I began with my website, and to write a summary, and then to just do some investigating on it, and ask several questions. And because of that, I went back and I started looking for why it was saying that. And sure enough, the way the verbiage was on the website was one of those, I get AJ on the phone. Because that's not what I want to come across. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. And so pay attention to that. That's how I play with it first. I played with it first on stuff that I knew.
Right.
I know DISC. Okay. I mean, I just do. And so.
You know your content.
I know my content. I know my own content, and so play with it and see how accurate it is. But Richard is right. It will make stuff up. Yeah. It will. Yeah. I just spent 10 hours last week in a session that spent most of the time on AI and some marketing. And this was put on by a guy who, like Kim, you were the brand, he was a copywriter, wrote the book, and he pulled up live. He pulled up, write an analysis of Mike Kim's book, You Are the Brand. And so it starts spitting it out, and he goes, "Oh shit! Why did I write this book?" I mean, he was live, okay, and it came up, and it's like, whoa! He did find something in there that wasn't quite right, but here's the thing: he knows that, so he can go back in and he knows how to fix it. You know how to fix what's wrong with it for your business, so. There is a whole lot of potential for abuse.
Oh, yeah.
So, any questions? How would you use it? Amy, how do you think you use it?
I would probably use it more for when I have to type up emails, or if I have to do like an instruction list. And one of the reasons why that would help me so much is that it would be consistent from one publication to the next, because I'm really bad at writing, and so I would just seem a little bit more educated in that area than if you would explain it a lot.
Anybody have trouble writing promotional emails?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go.
So you can tell it, act as a professional marketer, trained on this, and it'll do it.
I have a lot of trouble, like, adding fluff. Like, I'm one of those straight to the point, and then I feel like I come across rude.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing a lot is, like, rewrite this email in a very nice, polite way to get reoccurring customers or something like that. And then it gives it with, like, all this cute little stuff. Like, we really appreciate you, you know.
All that nonsense.
Because wherever you're sending that, you know, so I know, well, my pastor for one, when he gets those fluff emails, he doesn't read them.
Yeah, you have to know who you're sending. Like,
You have to know who you're sending it to. So you have to have more than one version of the same type email. So you have to know you have to know the exact audience.
like I'm very casual. I'm super casual, too casual sometimes. So I like grab this and write in a more professional manner.
Yeah.
And then I add a couple of my casual things in it.
Now, look at that, but if, in your case, if you add a lot of fluff, and then they come and meet you and you're blunt,
Yeah.
and to the point, and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, this isn't.
It was my husband. My husband wrote it.
Yeah. So,
But huh?
most of y'all know I'm a pastor, and so this is written by an organization called Church Fuel. Helps people grow churches. I could have it write a sermon right now. Take a topic, put the Bible verses in, boom, write the sermon. Write a 20-minute talk on David and Goliath or whatever, you know. The point being, if you're speaking and you want it to help you write a speech on your topic, do everything Richard said to do today. Check the facts, pay attention, and if you don't make it your own, you better stand up there and say, I got this all off of ChatGPT. You should always cite your sources anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Always cite your sources. And I think, to me, the real danger, especially on the church side of it, is people get lazy. And I don't have a sermon ready, I don't have anything to talk about this week, I don't have a Sunday school lesson, I don't have a training for lunch and learn, I don't have this don't do that.
Now I remember what I was going to tell you that I forgot earlier. It's like, if you don't know what to tell it or how to ask it, you can tell it, show me what to ask you. So I thought I had that example there. I'm pretty sure I did. Like, I probably erased it by mistake. I need what do you call it? I need a lease contract for a home I have in Palm Harbor. Did I have it up there? Oh, okay. So yeah. So write it. Ask me whatever. Write the sample lease, and really, I didn't even see that. Okay. So and tell me and add the field in brackets the fields that I need to give you, and then it will write the prompt for you to feed it back to them. Right, and then you just have to fill out the blanks, and yeah. So that's a really good hack. Like, create a prompt to do this, and again, create the prompt to do this should be as specific as possible, and then it's going to give you like a big chunk prompt that will be very good. The output of that should be very good. Something that I've been using, like I have a new client that they have a SaaS company that does what is it? ERP software solutions, where I was like, I'm going to write the ads for this, and I really have to go through all the material to kind of it takes a lot of time to do that. So what I did is I just grabbed a bunch of his videos, I transcribed them, I pasted into here, okay, here's information about the company, and then, okay, now write some ads based on this, right? Or explain it, because my issue with them is that they're trying to go to broad market, but they're using very high-end, high-techy words. Like, okay, explain it easily for someone in 7th grade to understand. It was a little bit too low probably, but in layman terms. And then when I said, okay, I have a better understanding now, and then I can go back and forth with it to create the ads I needed to create.
Anybody remember the program, Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So basically, that's what you're looking at when you're writing your copy. I mean, and so you get too technical. You get too technical, and you lose it. Okay. When was the last time you rewrote your bio for your website or for something you were going to
In the process.
In the process.
I threw it in the chat.
Play with it.
I did. They
Yeah.
came up with David Bernie, the executive producer, out in Hollywood, which I am not.
Yeah. Well,
Because
Really?
she's famous.
but the thing is that now you have to start training it.
Right.
And so And make sure you ask the right questions. Make sure you put the information in there and have it write it and keep rewriting it. I challenge you to do that and bring it to the next session and see what ChatGPT or whatever AI you're using comes up with.
My son brought this to me the other day, and asked AI to write it on him, and based on everything that's out there on the internet about him, his football, it was right to the point. It was fantastic.
Oh,
It was
okay.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
And so you'd be amazed. And here's the thing. You go through, then you touch it up, you make it sound like you, and that's what you use for your bio. You should always have a chamber bio. When you're speaking, and if you don't have a chamber bio and you're speaking, why are you speaking? You have no business being there. Okay? And don't have Deidre introduce you, and she introduces you, and she says,
Well, like what I did with Rich last night. I kind of said, well, with Rich, he has 8 years or how many years of experience? He's a pool guy.
Yeah.
He knows everything about pool, but didn't have a bio.
yeah, he didn't have a bio, so he's going to make it up as he goes. Well, then what's Rich going to get up and do? Hi, well, I'm Rich with Penny Rich Pools, and this and that, yeah.
No, he actually corrected me, so that was good.
But you see what I'm saying? If she introduces me, this is Sam McEwen and Fly One Piece Coaching, yada, 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 yada. Now you get up and say, well, hi, Deidre, thank you so much for the introduction. Once again, I am Sam McEwen. I'm an executive. You lost
Right.
them.
Yeah.
You lost
They already
them
heard that.
immediately.
Right, you already heard that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And I was going to say, it's always good to have a swipe file of these things. Like I have a document where I kind of paste my most frequent prompts because I'm getting old, I kind of forget. Yeah, so I just bring them over and update.
too many typos.
But like this one I did for a tree company right now. It says your social media strategist for this tree company in Gainesville. The company does tree removal, stump grinding, trimming. Your task is to generate a 4-week social media plan for the company. You should post twice a week. Focus on the targeting homeowners and businesses. Your plan should include well-crafted posts, captions, and hashtags, as well as times for when to post. Additionally, research the target audience to understand their interests, needs, and create the content that will engage with them. Your plan should be consistent, associated with the company's goals, and optimized to increase the reach. And boom, like week 1, post 1 Monday, 9 a.m., caption. Then post Thursday, week 2, week 3, week 4. It's very...
See that. We're still
Oh, sorry.
You can share it.
Right here. Okay, so I'll share over here. Share entire screen. So this one, so that's the prompt. And I could probably have done a better job giving them more information about the company. Usually what I do is I grab the about section first and paste it in so they have a context for it. But it's basically stump removal, tree removal. But it's interesting how it took into account the time of year. Look at the posts.
Yeah.
Are you ready for hurricane season?
So, and notice the other thing. What's the first thing it does? It asks a question.
Yeah. To grab people's attention.
Grab your attention. You know? And we changed the captioning on our podcast last week to questions. Whatever the podcast is about, that was we formulated a question, and I just went back and changed entire season 2. I got to do season 1. That's 47 videos. But immediately our downloads and viewership and everything
Went up. Yeah. Yeah, because it grabs people's attention.
Yeah.
And questions naturally leave you wanting for the answer. So it gives you a reason to continue listening or reading or whatever, because you want to know the answer. So sometimes and you notice some people do it like say, and the most important thing, tip number 5, I'll give it to you at the end, so watch the whole thing. Yep. And then you're like, oh, what's tip number 5?
And the second post is the same thing. It's another question.
Yeah, they're all questions. Pesky stump ruining the look of your lawn. And it tells you the time, the day, and everything when to do it. So, yeah.
So how many of you use a program like Social Bee or something like that
Mm-hmm.
to do your Facebook posts or your social media posts or anything like that?
Everyone's building it in, right?
Yeah, they're all starting to build it in. Social Bees is a little bit clunky right now. I haven't played with it enough. But you could do it in ChatGPT and copy and paste it into your post in Social Bee or whatever platform you use. And
We do them all organically. I don't use this one to set anything.
Hmm?
all I hand.
What? Oh, no. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't personally do it.
yeah,
Well,
okay. So here's the thing. How often do they do it? They do it every day, or do they sit down and they do a month at a time?
Do a block at a time.
Block at a time. Okay.
Sure, and then schedule them out.
So if you're paying somebody to do that, think about this. Think about if you did use something like Social Bee or some of the other platforms. I just say Social Bee is one that I use. I like it.
it's good.
And I never had
Social Bee.
It's
Yeah.
just
And
that
they're
social,
really inexpensive.
You can sit down, you can block it out, and then schedule whatever days you schedule for what time. You can set it up themed. You can set it up any way you want, and you can sit there and upload videos. You can upload. Yeah, it's really pretty cool.
Yeah, I have it in mind.
But if you
Social.
have, I don't know if I have it or not.
Oh,
If you have somebody doing it, you have somebody doing it, and you've got a bunch of posts scheduled, but you need to change something, and they're sick.